All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back yet again to the ESL Pro League Finals live here from Sao Paulo, Brazil. We're getting ready. It's a big matchup here. NiP versus SK. Moses, are you ready for it?
It's not too shabby. Yeah, I'm ready for it. I like these jerseys as well that SK's got going on. The yellow and green. It's good. It's good stuff for the home crowd. This is gonna be sick. I'm actually really excited because obviously we have Cbble playing for NiP, Fallen on SK. Both like playmaking operas. Both like very exciting play styles when they're feeling in the groove. Fallen insanely aggressive, open things up for his team. Cbble can just seemingly pull magic out of nowhere. So pretty pumped to see those two operas kind of go head to head. And I don't even know if necessarily they'll duel each other in terms of an op-and-on battle, but it is just going to be sweet to see how each of them tries to impact the game. Each of them trying to make plays throughout this match. All
right, well, it does look like we are going live with the match now, guys. So let's get into it once again. It is the Ninjas in Pajamas going up against SK Gaming. It's going to be here on Cobblestone, and the pistol round is going live right now. 10 seconds. And we'll get into it. SK are going to be starting off on the T side, and NiP will be jumping onto the CT side. Let's get directly into it and see how things are going to play out between these two titans of the Counter-Strike scene.
Oh, jersey's so sick. And a hat as well. It's just incredible.
It is a nice hat.
Yeah, well, pistol round is, it's going to be live here. And a nice flashbang towards mid at least forces back any kind of early information gathering that Cbble wanted to make. There he is. There's one of the plays he tries to make with the P2K. He gets punished. He's right on the 28, but Freiburg winning a drop. Can he get one more? Get right bails him out. Cbble still close up. Fallen's got to be so careful. He's not ready for it, and that's a sick headshot. 5-on-2 advantage for NiP. And SK, this pistol round cannot be going any worse.
Taco hunting for something here, but not going to be able to find any shots at all connecting. Taco and Cold both stuck over here at the exit towards long A, just trying to get them to the site so they can find a plant at the very least. coldzera, though, patience ends up working out great for him. He's able to knock out Cbble, and now they try to do more, but unfortunately Forrest is going to be able to knock down Taco, and it's just coldzera left. He will not last long, however, out in the open there. GetRight's going to finish the job, and it's going to be Ninjas in Pajamas that'll pick up the pistol round here and start off strong with the lead.
Yeah, I mean, sick job by GetRight. I mean, that was intended to be a split towards the A-bomb site. Freiburg gets the first kill, and it looks like he's about to fall, but GetRight bails him out. So that's a critical kill to find, because if that split's allowed to come into play, that A defense maybe is much weaker and actually gets exploited. So really nice job holding drop, which can be so difficult on pistol round with those Glocks able to get up close range with the extra mobility they provide and the extra bullets. And now NiP just has to survive the second round. It is an investment from the Brazilians. Fallen has a smoke, and the rest of them have Tech 9 armor. Cold has a Deagle armor. So a pretty intimidating buy as second rounds go.
SK not wasting any time at all, however, trying to line up their early round push here. Taco, coldzera, and Fur ready to push into the B-bombs if need be, and Fallen and FNX just on the edge of long A once more. Prophesizing their own push into that area of the map as well here, but NiP spread out across the map. Mainly exist Freiburg and GetRay watching over to the B-bomb site. A fairly typical split from these guys. And Forrest and Cbble watching out for the A hitter. Keeping the options open and actually playing it back pretty passively with the exception of Freiburg over towards the broken wall.
Yeah, it's a solid defense over at that B site though. Freiburg close up with the UMP, and then exist far back in the chicken coop with an M4. And there's no nades, there's no Molotov to flush him out. There's no smoke to really block him. Well, Fallen does have one. It remains to be seen where he used that. If they use it on chicken coop, it would force exist to be passive or get out into the open, but it might not help them cross into the site with GetRight and Freiburg there.
Freiburg's going to toss it the Molotov, also catching the first player, and that's the bomb going down too. I think the Molotov would have cut it off, so they're not going to be able to retrieve that anytime soon. The Pop Flash are trying to sway them regardless. He's just waiting for more. Not trying to overstay his welcome, though, as exactly that can happen. All three of them are going to move out. They overwhelm him for the trade. Exist and Forrest, though, were able to trade them out, and with that, they shut it down pretty quickly. The loss of Freiburg, they managed to take down everyone else in SK without anyone else going down. That is a clean second round from NiP now.
I mean, in reality, Freiburg wins that round by the Molotov, even if he doesn't get a kill, because that smoke was for chicken coop. It was to force Exist out into the open or force him to do absolutely nothing inside the smoke and then be in a really awkward situation. But the Molotov is timed like the second after the smoke is thrown, so it delays it. It buys time for Exist to get into a new position. It prevents them from really taking advantage of that smoke. So really, really nice utility usage from Freiburg, and now fast-paced down drop. GetRight's here, the shotgun, one kill. Can he get a second one? He's being passive. He's falling away, letting Freiburg do the work, and he comes back for a second. Good bonus money for the shotgun, but nice work from Freiburg GetRight in these first 3 rounds of that drop zone.
Already sitting at 7.5k after that play there, too, as he picks up, I believe, 2 kills with a shotgun. It ends up falling down so quickly there as everybody from SK just gets absolutely destroyed in the drop area there. But finally, now they get the real investments going. 5 AKs across the board here. Utility's actually going to be very light just because of how little money they were able to scavenge up here through kills and other means in those first 3 rounds there. So this is going to have to be more than likely a very direct take from them, and we'll see that in just a moment.
Yeah, I mean, the investment they had in the second round on the SK side, that's a lot of money spent. That's Tech9's armor. There's a Deagle on Cold as well. So they used a lot, and this is kind of this is the result that we see so frequently, is that fourth round from Terrasides after a second round investment. You are missing a lot of tools you would like to use in the way of nades. So they're not going to have a whole lot to play with, and this is perhaps why you don't see SK applying too much pressure over towards the A bomb site. They know they really don't have the utility to take over those A halls safely and then fall back towards B. So they have to kind of just wait, see if there's going to be any aggression, and just make their decision and just commit to it right when the utility is used.
Rest of SK now slowly creeping forward here. A couple of players posturing up to maybe move into drop here in a moment, but for the most part, again, leaning itself towards a B hit as we would normally expect on this map. And NiP are ready for it. 3 of their guys stacked up to prepare for an all-in hit at any moment here, and also quite a bit of drop pressure we are seeing now from SK, slowly moving up towards it. They've gotten to the edge, and they're not meeting any resistance from NiP initially here. They're kind of going to let them into it. We'll see if SK do decide to move into this site in just a second, as they're hesitating too. But finally, there's that flashbang, and it's actually going to work out great. GetRight moves in. Another kill with the shotgun for him, and he knows the second player is up there somewhere. Already knocking down Fallen. Fur will be the second target if they re-peek. It actually looks like FNX is going to move in now to regroup, so they're going to try to push it, but I don't think he's that close. He tries to get another kill in this round. Doesn't work out. Fur finally dropping the shotty, and they trade it down to a 4v4, but time is low, and they need to start this, and another flashbang just sits perfectly. Taco doesn't matter, though. He's going to push out while blind, and he moves forward, spots some of the players here, but NiP are holding strong. The drop down, 3-1 trade. coldzera going to try to pull up a miracle 1v2, down at 15 HP, and only 13 seconds to work with here. Stuck behind the new steps, lost the bomb. It's sitting over there in front of him. Just not going to work out here. He's going to try and fall back in the tunnel and save the rifle.
Yeah, he has to. There's no other option. That nice defense from NiP. It looked like it was on the verge of collapsing, but they hold on just enough. Great job by GetRight. 1 kill and drop and goes back for more, but SK gets stumped there on that hit. I mean, Freiburg on top of the tree, he was there forever. They didn't clear him out, so he's able to recover. Taco was creating great space for his team, but they just couldn't take advantage of it. Look at this investment from SK. No plant. And they're going to do a little bit of a half buy as this money bonus has built up. The losing bonus is at 4 rounds. The next round it'll be maxed out. So they do go for Tech9 and armor and utility. That's 4 players all stuck right around 1,200. So with the losing bonus, they'll be able to have solid buy no matter what.
And now SK again posturing up over here towards the broken wall approach. Same as many of these previous rounds before. Haven't seen anything remotely close to just a direct A hit as of yet here after that first pistol round. They tried to play with it a little bit there, but ever since they've been able to pick up some bigger guns, we haven't seen anything of the like. And now Taco is going to waste no time jumping down through broken wall. Freiburg holds the line though. FNX trying to look for the trade. Pre-firing at all these spots, but just not catching anything at all. coldzera having some better luck picking up a kill, and FNX just brute forcing his way through. Him and Fur managed to piece together 2 more pickups there. And now all of a sudden it's down to Makalele and GetRight, and they're completely smoked off. There's nothing that they can do at the moment. They've got to wait for it to fade, or, well, they're going to try to directly push back in, but that's where Fur is going to punish. Takes down Makalele, and GetRight has no chance at this one now. It would be a miracle play for him to pull off at what's now a 1v3.
Yeah, he's got to try and fall back, and I don't think they're going to let him. FNX is already pushing up towards the double doors, waiting to hear that, but, I mean, the smokes, the execution from SK wins him that round. Good kills with the Tech9s getting aggressive through the smokes. You could see GetRight wanted to get involved in the action the whole time, but he had to run through 2 smokes, and he just couldn't find himself. So that defense does crumble. After 4 rounds straight, SK steal one away with just the Tech9s. A little bit unfortunate for NiP, but they have good money. They're going to be able to buy in the next round no matter what. They'll have to drop a gun over towards Forest, but that's no huge deal. But SK, they get on the board on the 5th round.
So with that now, SK finally finding something to work with on a round where they actually had fairly minimal investment too. So for those that have to rebuy, that's not going to be a problem whatsoever. They're already on good footing to try and build up their money, but they've also got to break NiP first, as they're going to have no problem going into this next round. Makalele's back up with the AWP, but everybody else is full buying back into this one, no problem. And that was an auto sniper pickup too, which is now going to go into the hands of Exist.
Again, though, I mean, this is Taco jumping off the broken wall with just a Tech9, and he doesn't get a kill. He loses that fight, but he creates space. I mean, it attracts so much attention that the one player from NiP on the platform just hiding behind the wall is just isolated, so they have plenty of time. Cold finds him with a headshot. That was the big thing. Cold now this round, he steps into the Molotov a little bit too early, burns down to 42. Again, here comes an execution. It's going to be Taco one more time, braving the flashbangs, but GetRight's going to clean him out, and this time Exist is waiting. He's ready with the auto sniper, and here it comes.
Fallen going to try to push himself out, not giving himself away just yet. In fact, Exist goes down before he can even do anything with that auto sniper, but Freiburg back behind the statue. He catches the trade on the Fallen, knocking him down. The rest of SK, they're still trying to get themselves really beyond the broken wall. Beyond Fur jumping out, nobody's been able to gain solid footing, and there's Forrest finding another pickup. coldzera is knocked out here. Fur trying to look for a kill, but he can't do the finishing job. Forrest is going to be able to respond after Fur connects the initial hits, and then GetRight pushing back out is going to find the final frag, and they retrieve the auto sniper for use in the next round.
Yeah, even without that auto sniper, I don't even think get a shot. But I mean, beautiful recovery from NiP. Enough time is bought. I think I like this play from Taco. I mean, obviously you want that player, that first player out, to just be willing to run with those flashbangs and try and make space for you and try and get that kill. But it seems the follow-up behind it from SK is just so far lacking. It used to be, like, you know, Cold and Taco had a very, very good system of entering off that broken wall and Cold following it up and either getting the trade kill or bailing it out. But at the moment, it's just very much Taco kind of abandoned to the hope of a blind NiP player.
You can see the rest of SK again lining themselves up early on here in the B halls. The rest of NiP also going to be waiting for that too. They've only got, at the moment, Makalele just sitting over here at the A doors, waiting for the push to come in through the connector, and they've got Forrest a little bit further back too, but he's kind of the rotator, so at a moment we'll probably see him shift back over to the other side. Everybody else has been playing stable on B, and for the most part, they've been playing this very successfully. It's SK, they need to try and find a better way to sort of pierce the veil and get themselves into this B side consistently, be able to start to make this a bit more of a competition.
Yeah, this is a very important round for SK in the context of this half in terms of their money. No one has anything left. They're all below $200. And they're running out of utility. They have 2 smokes and 2 flashbangs to use, so this is where you would say this drop needs to be successful. Fallen needs to find something for his squad, but at the moment, Get Right just using all of his nades to slow this down. Doesn't want any presence from SK in drop zone. And still, they have not even touched this A bomb site. It's been all B for the SK side.
Still waiting for it now, though, as SK are looking for the first avenue to get inside. They were given control of drop, and this is where Fallen's going to have to try and impact, but he misses the shot and the second follow-up here. They know there's pressure starting to push back out, and they're going to expect the B hit again now. However, this does, as you were mentioning before, with some jump down that came in, it opens up space, but there's that auto sniper now coming into fruition. Exists dropping Taco. They're going to look for more. Fur is hunting for a kill just outside of this window room, but in the meantime, losing teammates, player after player after player. Freiburg and Exist finding 2 more frags, and now it's just Fallen and Fur as the last 2 standing here. Fur is even going to get knocked out by a jumping Forest. It's just on Fallen here.
And there it was. I mean, the opportunity was there for Fallen coming down drop. There was a small miscommunication at NiP that almost had major consequences. Fallen gets basically a free shot. Someone who's just out in the open, and he misses it and can't get the follow-up. And then once that smoke goes down as an AWPer, there's just no way for you to be effective through that. If you're jumping through that as all your teammates are dying, you have no one to distract for you. You have no way to entry through that smoke. So Fallen just gets shut out. And although SK had control of drop, they had no control anywhere else. So a dire situation now as they're forced back onto the pistols. Likely, I mean, they would love a plant here, obviously, but the next round it will be right on the edge of if they'll be able to buy or not.
We'll see SK finally start to send players, at the very least, over towards A long a little bit to investigate what's hiding out there. And at this point in time, it looks like it is going to be just Fallen, although he gets hit with an option. He does return a little bit of damage to Makalele. Not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, though, as the rest of the team is still stacked up over here just in the B halls, getting ready to go for the same push they've been employing for pretty much the past, like, 6 or 7 rounds now.
This time they have Fallen. He's at least in the A halls right now. I don't think he has any real plan of what he's going to be able to accomplish, but I think more than anything, maybe this round he's just kind of scouting it out and seeing if NiP has any kind of a presence, an aggressive presence in danger stairs. And there's Makalele. At least they find out there's an AWP at this bomb site, so they know there's an auto sniper over towards B, and they know that Makalele has the op at A.
Get Right trying to hold himself and drop here, although taking quite a bit of damage on the initial push and using like the entire clip too to be able to find that frag. So he needs to fall back, give them a little bit of room that will allow them to get into drop, but here's that auto sniper again. Exist, picking up 1 frag with it here. And we do see Coldzera trying to find something from in his own regard, but not going to last very long. Freiburg's there for support, and Fur already down to the last man standing here. Obviously not a lot he can do, and Exist just going to push right back in from the other end of the drop room, take him down, and that will lead us into a 7-1 lead now for NiP.
Yeah, suffocating defense so far for them, and a tactical pause comes out for the SK side of things. So now is the question, actually, I mean, as I was about to ask the question, are they going to buy? They go for the buy. So they were right on the edge. They're not going to have an AWP. They're going to have a lot of AKs. And now we see that past round where Fallen went A all alone and just kind of scouted out towards A halls. Or is he going to do anything with that kind of information? Does he have an idea of how he wants to play this next round? Did he see something he thinks he can exploit? And I mean, looking at the SK side of things, known for having Cold, who's been debated as being the best player in the world, or certainly one of them, depending on who you ask, he will be the best. But this is a surprising scoreline we see if you look down the kill total for the SK side of things, because it's not a whole lot of production. Fallen at 0, Taco at 1, FNX at 2, Fur at 3, and Cold at 4. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's a nice little straight there.
0, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Yeah. Well, the pause is going to be a quick one, and we will jump right back into it here now to see if SK decide to try anything different, or if they're still going to stick with the same type of B execute strat that they have been going for the entire half so far. Looking like, at least for now, it's going to lead itself into the B hit, although suddenly players are working their way out the other side of the hall, so this may have a bit of variance to it, depending on if they can find anything early on here, closer to the B side up towards platform. And Exists actually getting aggressive this time, pushing all the way up onto the steps there, and trying to see if he can hunt down any players early on here with some shots of the smoke.
Yeah, just got to be careful. You could see him consider the idea. Stop spamming when he's got about 8 bullets left in the auto sniper to make sure no one's going to try and push through that smoke and punish him. And this is, I mean, with that auto sniper, you could see NiP a little bit more confident to put 2 players in drop zone. Freiburg can get right there. Maybe going for a delayed boost, it's looking like. So the timing of this execution is going to be critical for SK, because Get Right is going to have a very, very fast flank when they feel that pressure coming.
They are still going for it, however, into the B bombs, and even NiP is starting to expect something a little bit different this time. They sent 2 of their own players out towards long A to try and investigate to see if they would send players in that regard, but they didn't see anything. With Makalele and Forrest all clear, so they're going to be able to fully commit themselves to the B site, get ready for the hit. Exist is not ready, though. coldzera drops down, drops that auto sniper early on here. They're going to get that first kill. Response is already rolling in, however. Get Right in Freiburg. 2 pickups for them. That's FNX and Cold, both gone down. They do finally get themselves a plant, but NiP still has the advantage for the retake.
Yeah, I mean, it's that fast flank from Get Right, and now the essential lurker, the guy that pretty much invented it in CS:GO. Where is he going to go with this one? How is he going to lurk it? He's playing it so slow. They've got to be so cautious of Fur. Utility being used. NiP's going to get started, but it's fallen with the opening kill, and Fur was not cleared out. Forrest, he can't win that battle either, so Get Right is on this flank, but he can't really do much. There's a good find. An opportunity still if that spam comes through. He's on point, but it's not dealing the damage, and now it's too far gone for the win. And he'll be content to just fall away. So NiP change up the defensive tactic at this B bomb site. They play much, much more retake. Due to dedicating Get Right and Freiburg to drop zone, it just exists with that auto sniper. Doesn't work out this round, so 2 on the board for SK now.
And of course, the guys from NiP are not going to have any buying into that one, considering the streak that they had been placing themselves onto here. SK, they're the ones who need to try and keep it a little bit more consistent here and try to keep themselves in the match. 7-2 is still a huge advantage if it continues to anything close to this current scoreline as we go to the end of the half of that. But still, plenty of time to try and bounce back now if they have found what can work for them. And actually, off of the victory, finally is really continuing to throw the same strat at the wall with that B site. Now is when they're going to change it up as they send things into what is sort of become the default here with 2 outside and lurking towards long A.
That is the only gun round that SK won there. The previous round one came with one, I believe it was 1 AK-47 and 4 Tech 9. So that was the first time that SK's been able to get on the board with a full gun purchase. This time, a little bit more presence for them outside of this A bomb site. Maybe, I mean, the game plan might have been once we have success at B, send some players over towards A, see if we spot anything, see if we can catch someone off guard. It looks like they might be a little bit more committed to it than just that, as FNX and Fallen with the bomb are going to work with Taco to clear out these A halls. They're not going to see any presence here. It's very passive in this A site. Forrest over at the APC. It's going to be Makalele at the doors. That's going to be I mean, that's got to be a little bit cautious if you're going to play this passively on the A bomb site, just because the smoke execution, if Cbble gets caught on the wrong side and can't actually defend this A site, that leaves Forrest in a whole lot of work to do.
You start to see SK slowly inching towards it, however, and they seem to be committing more and more to it as the time ticks down. Fur rotating back over there, probably towards the mid connector, and I'm sure coldzera is either going to stick around to be a late entry and a drop to try to drive a wedge and prevent rotations from B, or he'll regroup with the rest back over there in the mid connector, and it seems like he's favoring the drop option right now. And with two players still fully committed, if he moves in the right time, this could be huge effectiveness. Cbble missing that first shot, but he does pick up the second one. That's Fallen getting knocked down. Cbble, however, has to drop back in, and they really can't see much from that corner, so SK are going to have free reign to try and push back in. However, coldzera has yet to move in through drop, and this is where they could really get screwed up here, although they're holding the good defense currently. They are stuck back over there. Exist finding one more, as does Get Right. Taco finding a pickup too, but now Cold's back in the action. However, he's alone in the 1v3. Seems like he may have jumped into it a little bit too late with only 1 second on the clock. There's nothing he can do. NiP is going to be able to pick up another round here.
Yeah, the response, and then that should have been, I mean, the NiP, they rotate very quickly. Once Cbble sees one person, that's really the first time he's been challenged in a gun round at this A bomb site. So once that happens, the rotation's just very, very quick. And the big difference is that execution comes much later in the round than when SK has gone towards the B bomb site. So that might be a factor that NiP can read into later on in this half. If they start seeing this clock wind down and they don't feel pressure at that B bomb site, start cheating a player over. But regardless, once the execution, once Fallen gets picked off, SK slows down. And for NiP players to defend that A bomb site, you're not going to win that fight too many times as a terrorist team.
SK go right back to the standard, however, as they are immediately broken again. Onto the Tech 9s. We've got 1AK still sitting on Cold, obviously, as he managed to save, but Exist. No reason to worry about that with the scoreline lead that they have, and I believe the fairly stable money that they're still working with here. He's going to be able to push himself forward. Some of that early damage, or tries to do it anyway. Not much success being found, but at the very least tries to hold SK back for a little bit longer. They're going right back to the basics here. Full on execute outside. They don't check that corner, and Freiburg just absolutely destroys two of them. Get Right and Exist picking up two more. We did see the one trade from Fur to take down Freiburg, and a random tap and an nowhere from Fallen. Knocks that Exist at the very least, but Get Right shuts it down beyond that, and there you have it. 9-2 now in the favor of NiP.
16-1 for Get Right. So that's a pretty good scoreline from him. He's being so dominant in that drop zone. One of the hardest, I think, one of the hardest positions as a defender to defend in the entirety of Counter-Strike. I think that drop zone is probably the most extremely difficult in how you have to do it and how much you have to change up how you do it so they don't catch on to any kind of tendencies you have there. So he's doing a phenomenal job of not only that, but reading when he needs to rotate. And now look at this, another switch up from NiP. Actually, Forrest is going to be in these danger stairs, and he's going to have Season Heads walk right into him. This is the initial shot, but Fallen now is going to get taken out by Freiburg, and Freiburg is now over at the A bomb site because the switch up that I wanted to mention was Cbble with the AWP over towards B platform.
Oh.
And there's 16-2, Cold says.
coldzera, nicely done, waits a little bit longer there to see if anybody decides to inch and a drop to make sure they didn't take control of it there, and it ends up paying off. Now Fur is able to drop in, gets control of the AK, tries to take this battle, but the aim punch does not work out in his favor. However, he still gets good damage on the Forest. Brings him down to 13 HP, and Fur goes down to like 17 now. A little bit of a stalemate in that regard. NiP, though, is still in full control, but what they haven't realized is the bomb wrapped all the way around the map and has now gone into the A-bomb site and is currently walking up for free until just now when Freiburg went back outside and was able to get in the way of it a little bit here.
Oh, that dink hurts. Freiburg very, very low. 1 HP. He's got to fall away. He's got some backup here now, but Forrest and Freiburg are very low, so NiP has to be careful that this doesn't spiral away from them. And what can Fur do? I think Cold is waiting for him to make a play, but that's not going to work. Freiburg spots Cold at range, and Fur still having a good time with the chicken of the pumpkin head.
That's new.
It's that Halloween update. I like it. Yeah, but so Fur with only 7 HP, he can't really do anything. He's just pre-firing these angles, so it is going to be a 10th round for NiP. This defense is looking very, very solid so far. We saw the switch up now. The question is, are they going to go back to it? Are they going to send Cbble again towards the B platform? Was that like a design play because of his spawn, or do they actually want to show a new look towards SK?
We'll wait and see that in just a moment here now as SK, the buy from them as we take a look at what exactly they're going to be able to bring to the table.
You can tell what SK has been doing in this half just by looking at the scoreboard, because Get Right and Freiburg, both defenders over at that B bomb site, have the highest kill count. It's been very, very B emphasis T side from SK, and it has not been successful, obviously. 10-2, but the kill counts for those two is incredible.
See Cbble actually getting a little bit more aggressive over here into the mid connector, this time peeking wide, which could have proved dangerous since he had those two guys to the right that he wasn't really able to see that well. If they decided to push in, could have overwhelmed him pretty quickly, but he gets himself out of there and falls back to the normal spot beyond it. Now he's going to be able to find some nice shots against Taco, and that's actually a really good angle against the smoke there. Spots one of them pushing back in, and he's going to be able to get a glimpse at more in just a second. Three of them trying to push their way up the ramp. Sees it coming, but now he's not going to evacuate. That Molotov is going to break the doorway for him a little bit. Lets him get back outside. Doesn't really take much damage from it, and Fur is going to jump through against GetRight, taking him down. Fallen finding a second kill against Freiburg here, too. They've got to keep it consistent. Forest finding one trade. Exist picking up 1-2, but all of this is traded out evenly into the favor of SK. It goes into a 1 versus 2. Makalele managed to rotate back over here onto the balcony, gets himself down below, but doesn't see Fur sitting up on top of the truck, and that is going to finally allow him to meet his doom there and allow the guys from SK to pick up a third round.
Yeah, there is that scary timing on these A hits where it did feel like a couple of the NiP players got caught on the wrong side of the smokes when the execution came in, and they really had to risk a lot to get back into that bomb site. So SK with their third round, they have to grind it. It wasn't easy. But either way, still a chance here for them to have a, to pull this into, I mean, despite how dominant it's been for NiP, I mean, SK has never strung rounds together in this entire half, and if they can do it here, it's going to be a very weak buy in the last round for NiP. So this would give a good chance for SK to get up towards just 5, and that's a good start. There's Fallen chiming in early on in the rounds, making the play, and he's going to get a second one as well. Forrest swinging out behind the flames, but he can't find the kill.
GetRight counter boosting once more, trying to see if he can find an impact here to try and trade back the kills a little bit, but he's been loud stomping up to here. They're going to know he's around the corner. Fur takes the battle, and GetRight's going to get dropped, so there you go. Another kill going by the way of SK, and they basically have the map. The map is their oyster at this point. They can go wherever they want to, and it's going to be very little worry. It's all down to Exist and Freiburg. Both have been isolated to the general area of the B-bomb site, so SK won't even have trouble getting the bomb down. It's going to be a walkover for them, and more than likely, NiP are going to have to save.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, in this situation, if I'm Freiburg and Exist, or if I'm an NiP teammate, I'm just saying you guys need to try and save that gun. They need to group up and try and fall back towards B. Fur is lurking to prevent the save, and he might be able to catch off Exist. It's all going to come down towards timing, and I think Exist spotted him. Yeah, he did. There's a nice headshot. So Exist has cleared the evacuation route for Freiburg, who's going to go meet up with them, and no one from SK is really hot on their heels. No one's really chasing this down. FNX is going to try and cut off any more pushing, but I mean, NiP, Exist, and Freiburg are going to be content to just chill here. And with the money that they have, these are two very, very important rifles to bring into the next round, because Exist will be able to drop one. Freiburg maybe drop a FAMAS, but I mean, it's going to be a pretty rough buy. Freiburg can drop an M4 or get utility, so they'll at least be able to bring help their teammates bring rifles into the next round with good nades.
Though, as you mentioned previously, from NiP may not end up being the best, but it looks like NiP are going to take their pause right here as well to try to figure this out a little bit in the 15th round. Just figuring things out for the final round, as finally SK have gotten some footing, so they want to make sure they end this one on a strong note.
Yeah, I mean, I like this tactical pause because it is going to be with the weaker buy, so you figure out, exactly how you want to play it, who's supporting who's getting the rifles, where do you want to try and find that early advantage. It was good to see last round Fallen with those opening 2 kills. That was massive. I mean, you said it. He already had, as soon as he got those 2 kills, he just hustled. He knows there's only 2 players there, so he gets up into the A bomb site very, very quickly, and he just waits, and he holds, and he tells his teammates to come back, and with that ADVP, he can prevent anyone from NiP coming through those choke points.
Buy from NiP actually doesn't end up being so bad at the end of the day, though. Pretty much everybody still gets a rifle in hand. I'm not sure if Exist is going to be able to find one for himself. It depends on if they manage to throw one on the ground for him. It doesn't look like they have one, so I think he's going to be one of the few that end up working with a pistol. Actually, no, they do manage to get him one, so he's going to have something to work with here in this round after all. So everybody's still got a rifle. There's like decent utility. Pretty much the entire team has smokes to work with. There's actually quite a few Molotovs. The biggest area they're weak on is like flashbangs and whatnot, but they should still have a lot to try and hold back the initial push from SK, which should still allow them to, at the very least, to bring down the time a little bit. It's been a department that SK has been struggling on. There's at least 2 of these rounds I think have come down to the timer.
And we'll see now. It goes back towards this B bomb site. Molotov to force Exist away. There's the flashbang. It seemed like Exist was waiting for that. Might have heard the sound cue. Might have just been expecting it from experience against SK. But he at least doesn't get punished by Taco. And Taco decides not to commit. So the tactic is just to see him get out towards platform, give him maybe 5 seconds to find a kill, and then just fall away. But what it does do, that little bit of pressure, look how much utility it forces out of the hands of NiP. They were already low to begin with, but now, I mean, only 3 members with nades, and it's 2 flashes, 1 smoke, and 1 Molotov.
And SK are going to go back to the same strat that they've been employing for pretty much this entire half, with a few exceptions. Going directly into that B-bomb site. Everybody grouping up for it now. The players that were lurking over towards A have now abandoned that and have grouped up with the main pursuit over here. 3 from NiP are going to be waiting for this hit to come into this site, however, as we've seen before. But it's a very heavy commitment over on the A site in the meantime. It's not the lighter commitment we've seen in previous rounds. Both Forest and Makalele are going to take quite a bit of time to be able to get into this bomb site. If we don't see trades coming out from NiP, SK may just walk right onto it. That's a good pop flash, though, and Exist is going to be able to pick up at least one on on the first push that rolls in here. Oliver, he's traded back down. Freiberg from behind the statue, along with Get Ready, going to pick up 2 more, but those are also traded out. It goes down to a 2v2, but Forest immediately shuts out the final players. And with that, NiP are going to pick up an 11th. They're going to hold a very strong lead coming off of this CT side, and we're going to see in the second half if they get to continue that or not. Guys, stick around for it. We'll be back in just a little bit to determine if NiP or SK will be the victors here in this group stage matchup. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is NiP, the Ninjas in Pajamas, currently shutting down SK, coming off of their CT side at half. 11-4 is the scoreline, and SK are going to be on recovery duty, starting right from the beginning of this half now as they will jump on at the CT side. Moses looking at that first half. What were like the key issues for these players now that need to be solved on the CT side?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, Fallen was noticeably quiet just because we expect a little bit more from his style of opping and what he's done in the past. I think the big thing was how often SK focused on that B bomb site, much like Immortals earlier on in the day. A lot of focus on B, and then when they switch it up and go A, they actually have more success than when they were hitting that B bomb site so much. So that's interesting. For me, NiP on the defensive side, it was a very proactive defense. In that last round, Exist gets that flash and peeks, and he gets 1 kill, but he gets so much information, and now we have Fur. I mean, that's just a quick battle going on between him and Forrest, and he's going to win it. The rest of NiP coming towards the B side, but it's going to be Cold. That's a deadly execution.
Freiberg trying to wrap himself around a little bit here, but Cold Zera, he's back now, shutting things down. 3 quick kills for him, and everything falls to Exist. He's going to try to fall back, but someone's meeting him there to cut him off. Fallen is going to take him in this 1v1 here. Just waiting for it. I think Exist is aware of that one, so he's going to creep up a little bit here towards Drop to try and look for an avenue in here. And as he moves towards it, everybody has him surrounded at this point. Oh, the nice triple shot from Exist. Yields him at least 1 more kill, but there you go. The jumping shot from Fur is going to finish things off, and SK will have their chance to get back into this game as they'll pick up the second half pistol.
Yeah, Cold's in it. Cold's around. He wanted to make sure that everyone knows he's still alive in the server. That was a ridiculous round from him. 6 shots. And we have a pause coming out, which is very interesting. I'm not sure what this will be about this early on in the half, just after pistol round. Don't see timeouts too early in the halves like this.
Did say tack on the pause, so that is a bit strange indeed to try and discuss how exactly they want to. I mean, yeah.
Maybe it's mind games. Maybe they're like, all right, SK, what do you think we're talking about here? Although I guess they do have, 4 timeouts now? 4 30-second timeouts?
Yeah, but I think you're limited to 2 per half, aren't you?
I do not know.
I think that's the...
Cool.
I could be wrong, but...
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is just very curious. I'd love to know what they're talking about or what it might be. This is pretty quick even for 30-second timeout, I feel like.
Yeah, so just a quick brief one from NiP, and we'll see what exactly they did discuss in a moment here. But obviously the buy rolls in regardless. Tech-9s and armors, just saving up a little bit there, just going for the B250. But immediately Fur pushing out from the mid connector, finds Forest, already knocking out one of them there. Certainly not the best way to start it. If we're going to try to play aggressively over here towards the A-bomb site, but there's going to be players waiting for them even in that area. Fallen playing to this spot of the map, and he's going to have his first contest versus Get Right in a moment. Handles that very nicely, and is going to probably fall back to the site.
Yeah, it seems like that aggression from Get Right up the stairs wasn't properly aligned with his teams coming down those halls. There's finally the return kill from Exist, but it feels like the damage is done. Well, I mean, it definitely is. He's the only one left, and he's going to fall there. And I have to say, I don't like this. I didn't like that second. I don't like that call to buy there in the second round. You're up 11-4. We saw like what the start for the T side was for SK Gaming when they did something very similar. That first gun round, they didn't really have any options because they had no utility. NiP is going to be in a very, very similar situation this next round with a massive lead. So, you know, going to help SK get back into this game a little bit.
Very quickly, SK will find themselves at a scoreline that'll prove to be very manageable, even if NiP start trading out rounds a little bit with them. As long as SK can manage a streak or two here on the CT side, then they will be able to chain this back together and possibly be able to steal the lead away and take this map, as NiP took a very huge lead here at the beginning, but they're going to be on recovery duty themselves now, as SK are looking good to pick up the first 3 rounds, and if they pick up the gun round, well, that's where things will prove to be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, right, with a little bit of alert, but it's all... there's no real danger here for SK. I mean, so it's all Glocks. Exist has a P250, but I mean, what can you really expect NiP to be able to do here? They'd love a plant. It looks like Forrest, maybe he's way out towards top of mid. Maybe thinking that if they hit B bomb site and have any kind of success, he can just plant the bomb at A, but for the moment, it's just kind of a stalemate, as NiP seems to be playing very passively, waiting for any aggression, waiting for any pushes, and SK just doesn't have any reason to do it, because they know they're going against just Glocks.
coldzera and FNX both waiting for the drop hit to come in here too, and more than likely this is going to get absolutely destroyed if they try to go for it here. And there's the first one already found against Exist. Get Right will have Makalili to support him if they decide to go for it here, but yeah, again, they're ready for this one, and they've even got the 2 players that are on the A site ready to rotate just in the event that things fall apart. All 4 of the remaining players are going to try to drop in. They trade out 1, but that seems to be the only 1 kill that they're going to be able to find here. Forrest picking up that one, and Freiburg has been spotted as the last man standing. He's hunting for something with the headshot angle, but it's not going to work out. Fur gets the last kill, and SK escaped that one pretty clean, only losing FNX due to the chaos of that 4-man push.
All right, so now we have the gun round. Now we have the AK-47s come out. We're going to see what kind of utility they're able to bring into this round. And it's actually pretty good. I think it's a little bit better than what SK had in the first half. They do have 4 smokes. They've got 1 Molotov on Get Right, enough flashes to make something work. So they've got some options open to them. It's not like with SK in their 4th round on the T side where they were pretty much dedicated to the single execution they decided upon. NiP can prod a little bit. They can apply some pressure and see what the response is going to be like. But for the moment, obviously, as we see on Cobblestone, smokes and these choke points are going to slow everything down towards this B bomb site.
And the same type of lineup that we were seeing the guys from SK use quite a bit in the last half here, with the one exception being Forrest, of course, poking a little bit over towards the A bomb site just to try and keep the more default players from SK in that site for a little bit longer.
This is really cool. Forrest just throws a smoke towards Danger Stairs and 1 flashbang that blinds the player spot, the CT player spawning from double doors, and he doesn't even commit at all. It's just that 1 flashbang blinds Fur long enough that he says, I don't know if someone could be in there. I don't have the intel, so that forces Fallen back. Just with 1 smoke and 1 flashbang, without even risking his life, Forrest already putting a little bit of pressure on the defense over on the other side of the map.
We can see now NiP starting to creep up a little bit to get that early drop control. Very key to get them into the site if they can get this early on here, especially with SK now playing a little bit more passively, not taking the active role to try and defend it as much as NiP was in the last half here, really keeping players on the outside area to watch for this one. So they've managed to get 2 down inside, and they've got the other 2 players ready to push out towards Brookwell, but Taco actually aggressively pushing in there. They just want to find the intel, though. However, FNX will pick up the first kill against Freiburg. Get Right trades. He looks for the second, but Taco holds with the SMG. He's going to be able to take him down, and coldzera inside of the chicken coop. He's got the op to work with here. He's picked up his first kill against Exist, going to smoke himself off. Unfortunately, most of the efforts now from NiP have proved to not work out so great. And in this 2v4, it would take a miracle to bring it back, although Forrest is going to start it off here with his first kill. Fallen trades, and now Forrest is alone in the 1v3 and very overexposed from that position. Fallen is going to be able to punish, take him down, and yield, I believe, the 8th round for SK.
classic danger of SK is this double op setup between Fallen and Cold. It's so effective, and I know a lot of analysts don't think that it can work on Cbble, that it's not a very viable tactic to have 2 ops on this map, but when you have guys like Fallen, you have a guy like Cold, as long as Cold just gets his 1 kill and stays alive, that's beautifully done in Chicken Coop for him, and then it's so hard for NiP to make any progress. So they had no utility to flush Cold out of the Chicken Coop. Even he preventatively smoked himself off to prevent a Molotov, so it's really, really nice defense for SK.
And now NiP are going to go for a bit of a change-up here on the eco round, just directly into the A-bomb site. Fallen aggressive early on here to spot some of this, but now he's down at 7 HP. It's possible of him being cut off from suicide, but a fairly slow follow from NiP is actually going to let him escape back to the site. Fur doesn't get any kills at all from over in the back here. It's Freiburg that manages to drop him early on, actually, so they've got the advantage going into this site. Fallen managed to drop back to the alleyway, but at 7 HP, that's not really going to be a great and secure position for him. If they just spray down into the alleyway, they can find him, and there you have it. Get right, catches the kill, and now all of a sudden we're in a 5-on-3.
Yeah, and FNX is brought solo. He can't really do anything. Mike Laley runs right into it, and he predicts that there's shadows on the ground. That's what's helping him. But either way, down into a 3-on-1. There's now an M4 salvage. There's an AWP on Get Right as well. Taco in a 1-on-3. The bomb is going to get planted any second, and NiP, they pull one out with just pistols. Early damage to Fallen, early damage to FNX prevents them from getting involved too effectively into the fight. And Furry, I mean, you have to say, that position in middle with no one checking for the first 3 seconds, for 20 bullets of his clip, and he needs to get at least 2 kills there.
And with that, all of a sudden, NiP go right back into control of things here. The buy-in from SK rolls out. They've got the double op setup sitting on Cold and Fallen, but FNX and Taco have to go down to shotguns and Fur on an M4. Money is really not going to be that great. In fact, every single player of SK is now sitting with $50 left over after those buys. So they're broke if they drop this round, and that is NiP retaking the lead in huge strides here.
Yeah, in a big way. SK cannot afford to lose this round. That would get NiP up to close to match point way too early. So they're going to have to make do with these shotguns. Fallen has no armor. There's no kits on the CT side. And they're going to start running out of utility. They only have 2 smokes left to block the choke points. And the question becomes, maybe they don't want to use them. They have 2 AWPs. But again, it's going to be Cold at the Chicken Coop. And how does NiP, solve that issue of him?
Still early on in the half, but we've yet to really see a whole lot of success with NiP going for these kinds of B hits here. They've been given drop control for at least 1 or 2 rounds, but they've yet to really find a good way to get themselves outside of it. And with the shotgun in play here too from FNX, he can find a lot of good defense from even in this transition room, as we've seen many times in the past here. It's going to come down to the party back over there, pushing over towards Broken Wall to get themselves out and get them a little bit more room to work with. But there comes the initial push. The shotgun shots actually don't connect. It's Taco from the other end of that one that finds most of the impact there, but Exist trades out 2 more. There's the Broken Wall impact we needed to see. Now, though, they need to manage Coldzera back over here by Chicken Coop, and at the moment, that's not going to be possible. He knocks out Makalele, and this goes into a 2 versus 3. Cold just holds back, too. There's no reason to push out from the other end, and when it does, finds Forrest looking the complete other direction here. It falls to Exist, now down into a 1 versus 2 after he takes out Fur. He's having to deal with both of the ops, but as soon as he walks out into the open, Coldzera is going to find the closing shot on this round and pick up the 9th round for the Brazilian squad.
Cold again, just the self-smoke that he uses, and NiP gets caught by it again. And even that, I mean, the double shotgun, it drops, so NiP was not prepared for that. Even still, this 2-op setup has been successful now a couple times, and NiP going to go back towards the buy. They have 3 AK-47s, actually, yeah, 3 AK-47s, 2 Tech 9s. So still a very dangerous buy. But I mean, going towards this B bomb site with a double op setup doesn't seem to be successful for NiP at the moment. They've lost a couple rounds this way. So now back again towards the A bomb site where they won their first round of the half.
Keeping them in this game for now, and NiP here are going to have to try and look for recovery, and they're going to go back over towards the A site once again. It worked for them in the last round. Fallen, though, is ready for it. He's got a nice angle just over here behind the wall leading up onto the ramp. Catches Makalele and promptly falls back, but there's Exist and Get Right catching 2 players out in the open. FNX is able to peek out from the main doorway here and picks up an additional kill against Exist, but still, Taco needing to bring this back a bit more, and he does. Knocks out Get Right, and all of a sudden the advantage is switched. Now it's SK that holds control of things here, and it's NiP that are going to have to take things a lot more slowly to get up to this site and find the plant.
We'll have to cross now as well. They have no smoke for this. Freiburg's just got to run the gauntlet, and he does it. Help of a flashbang. Taco, low HP, still waiting. And Forrest has got to try and alleviate some pressure for his teammates. So they're going to get the bomb planted. It is going to be all on Forrest's position. And when the rotation comes in, Cold with this. Oh, there's the first kill. That's nice. Cold now with the AWP. He's got to find his way out, and you know he's going to play with this smoke. Hoping that it buys himself some room, but Forrest playing with it himself. Oh, he's missing the spray. He seemed to have all the advantages. Now he's got to bail out. He's got to reload, and Cold finds Freiburg in the meantime, and they have him trapped. There's nowhere for him to go. and Forrest is going to be deathly upset with himself after that one.
Falls to pieces in SK now. We're just within 2 rounds of tying this back up. NiP as well are completely broken as far as their money is concerned. They've just started building up a losing bonus. On average, these players are sitting at around $500 each. There's no way they're going to be able to justify anything beyond just an upgraded pistol or two going into this next round. It's going to be very light indeed for them, and that yields really good results for possibly SK to come back all of a sudden.
I imagine it's going to be a little bit of a half buy from NiP. You know, Tech 9 armor, very light utility, just because they got 3 kills. The money on the SK side isn't that good, and they don't want it to build up. So you want to invest a little bit to at least be able, at the very minimum, be able to deal the damage to force the rebuys. You want to keep this economy low so you have it in a constant state of resetting it.
We do see across the map here now, NiP, they're going to try to push themselves towards drop once again, and falling a counter boosted pretty early on there. Missed the shot grenade, but spotted the early push from Get Right. Not going to be too big of a deal. He doesn't find that kill when you consider that everybody from NiP is still working with just the upgraded pistols. Deagles across the board, and everybody except for Makalele. And Exist is hunting for this player that had pushed up the steps, but it's he himself that gets dropped down, loses about 2/3 of his health pool, down to 32 HP, as the rest fall back away from the B halls and yield over towards A instead.
It is very interesting to see NiP with all of these Deagles just kind of using the range, trying to find an opening pick. Relying a lot on it, even Get Right going for the small armor to help. Obviously, Makalele doesn't invest in the Deagle because he wants all the money he can to have an AWP, to have armor behind it, to have a solid buy with that AWP. Also, both teams have seemingly, focused on B, but had more success at A. Now, Fur, that's a good trade from Exist. Good find. Makalele falls. That's only the Glock, so no huge deal, but falling on the site. This is the next danger. Oh, Forrest shuts him down. This provides an opening. Can NiP get into the site? A bomb plan would be so good for NiP at this stage.
Exist will try to hold it and still connecting more of these Deagle shots. Both FNX and Cold have been hit by it. The problem is his damage is also getting traded on NiP, and the bomb still has to cross over here through the main doorway to get us up to the site. Get Right now has a rifle to work with, and he's got armor even sitting behind it too, so he's actually got a really good fight to try and hold this back, but there's the op coming back in from Cold Zero all of a sudden, finding Freiberg to knock him down. Get Right trying to hold the line. He actually does find Taco and Exist inside of the chicken inside of the shed here, but Get Right finding another kill back by the main doorway. He's taking down Cold, and look at how low FNX is, sitting at 24 HP, and not only this too, but Exist has the perfect angle sitting just below, but actually that's going to be spotted by FNX. He's able to punish this. This goes into a 1 versus 1. The health pool's so low on either side, but FNX, Get Right caught an off angle, but he's able to spin at the last moment, and he shuts it down. A 3K on the round for him, and with that, he's going to save NiP here and keep the lead going for them.
Phenomenal Deagle shots from NiP, and that's exactly why you do it. Obviously, you can't count on those shots